Our warmest regards to all the attendees. Today, we are all gathered here to have insightful discussion on the globalization of business management and diversification of human resource management. First of all, I would like to introduce myself as a moderator in this session D-4. I am Kang-ho Lee, President of Grundfos Pumps Korea. Grundfos Pumps Korea has been operating our business activities since 1989 as a subsidiary of Grundfos Group in Denmark. It's my great honor and pleasure to join this Global HR Forum and moderate for an excellent session. In this session, we have two remarkable speakers and three panelists. Each of the two presenters will make 10 to 15 minutes of speeches, and then three panelists will give 5 minutes of presentation. They are all Korean CEOs of global corporations in Korea. In order to smoothly moderate this session, we will have discussion and Q&A session after all presentations are finished. It is our role to develop and motivate talents and lead them to global stage. Coming discussion with our eminent speakers and panelists, I believe it will inspire us to develop ideas on practical strategies in globalization of business management and diversification of human resource management. Now, let me introduce the first speaker, Mr. Hee-sung Lee. Mr. Hee-sung Lee has been the President and CEO of IBM Korea since 2005. Mr. Lee began his career at IBM Korea since 1984. Since then, he held a series of leadership role positions until today. Mr. Lee will address the importance of the creative innovators in the integrated market and IBM's value in human resource management. Mr. Lee?
Good morning. This is my great honor, and I welcome you to the sessions, and I hope my presentation and the discussion that we will have will be very useful for you all. And I also thank you to Mr. Lee, who gave very kind instruction about me. So today I just wanted to share very briefly about what IBM is thinking about people in terms of the IBM's global business strategy. So we have some technical problem here, so please bear with me for a minute. Okay, many of you may know the IBM company, and IBM company is ranked number 2 in terms of company brand power. But I don't believe many of you exactly know what IBM company is doing today. Many of you know IBM 10 years ago and 20 years ago. Based on your experience, you will see a different image about IBM. Because IBM has been changed over time throughout the history of the IBM Corporation. So somebody believes that IBM is technology company, and somebody believes that IBM is very strong at management systems. But the important asset that IBM has is not the technology nor the systems. It's all about the people. So our chairman, Sam Palmisano, said to his communication message to all employees of IBM who works globally across 170 countries. And he declared that IBM's most important asset and invention is IBMers. The word IBMer means IBM employees, IBM people. So why IBM use that terminology as a unique characteristic of people who are working in IBM? IBM, we have 380,000 people across the world work for IBM under the name of IBMers. Then we have to question, you may be interested, what does it mean by an IBMers? So we have to come up with the answers. how can we define ourselves as IBMers. So in 2003, IBM started to define our values of the IBMers at work. And we invited more than 300,000 employees to join the online discussion forum, which we call the Value Jam. So everybody in IBM participated in that session and started to talk about who are we. So they came up with these three very clear characteristics and values of the IBM employees. First one is dedication to every client's success. All IBMers, any single IBMers should dedicate themselves to the success of clients. So that's our first commitment. We value this as a characteristic of the IBMers. And secondly, the innovation that matters for our company and for the world. That's our second value. So we are dedicated to do innovation for our company and for the society and for the world. So that's all about IBMers. And third one is trust and personal responsibility in all our relationships. These three values are really the core part of the IBMers. It's the DNA of IBM people who are working in IBM. As you know, there's 380,000 people is big numbers. But regardless of their nationality, their race, or the location that they work, every single IBMers shares common values, which is defined by themselves, not by the CEO, not by the chairman. We, IBMers, define these values. So we, as being an IBMer, we can share the common values, and we have common understanding about the businesses and the common reactions, and we also account for each other. So we have very strong sense of the teamwork and also the trust among the IBM employees. So with this value, we can come up with a unified team under the same values. So we don't need such a very complicated system to manage all the complexity of the HR human resources. So whenever I do the interview to hire the executives in IBM, then my last question to him is that just showing these values to him or her and ask whether these values are really match to his or her own professional value at work. Then if once the candidates commit this is exactly aligned to his personal values, then after joining IBM, he is becoming an IBMer naturally. We don't need any special terms and conditions on the contract. We just take his personal commitment as an IBMer. So I think this is the power of IBM, because we are changing our business model continuously year over year. We've been used to be the hardware company, and we have gone through the services business transformation, and now we are focusing on solution and services to deliver innovation to our clients. So those rapid change over the last 2 decades, IBM turned out to be a completely new company than it was in 20 years ago. So this is the secret of all the changes that we could make successfully. So IBM wants to be an innovation company. We want to be an innovator's innovator for our client. So naturally, the people we want to be in IBM should have capability to lead innovations with creativity. So this demands is very clear. And also these demands, this kind of characteristic should be centered around the value, which I just explained to you just before. I want to share some of the characteristics and the capability which we want to have in IBM. That's number one is innovation comes from the collaboration among the multiple disciplines. So we want to have talent who has creativity and open mind to collaborate across the disciplines. So people who can cross over the boundaries of the business unit and industry and technology, we want to have people like that who can really drive creativity and innovation for our clients and for the company. Secondly, we have, this is similar to what I said just before. IBM used to be a technology company, so we have very strong capability in technology. But at the same time, after we acquired the consulting firm, PwC Consulting in 2002, we also have lots of knowledge about the industry and the business of clients. So our value, differentiated value against others, will come from the combination of those two components. So combination of integration of technical value versus business value should be done by people. It cannot be by the system, or it cannot be done by product. So in fusion, the integration of technology with business should come from the people. So that's the reason why we want people who can integrate those two into one to provide the innovation value to our clients. And also, we want IBM to be an ambassador to communicate IBM's visions and value to all the constituency around us, our partners, our clients, our industry. We want every IBMer to want to be the ambassador to communicate IBM's visions and IBM's value to our client. So it means there's strong sense of belonging, strong sense of ownership about the company. So IBM is not owned by the majority shareholders. IBM share is scattered, spread across many shareholders. So every single IBMer, we want them to be an owner of the company. Not by owning the share or the equity, but by owning the common value which I described and the characteristic to be an advocate of the IBM corporation. So this implies many things to many people who want to get a job after graduation from university. They want to demonstrate their capability as technical expertise in subject areas like business administration or electronic engineers. But I think that's not enough for IBM because we want them to integrate and we want them to be creative by crossing over boundaries. And also, we are not so much interested in technology or the skills that they have. We want them to be an owner of the company. And we want to utilize, to work with them as the part of the IBM corporation. So, IBM has many systems and the processes to manage this kind of the talents globally. Firstly, we are focusing on creating the culture for the career development for the employees. This is very important. I joined IBM after my graduation from university 24 years ago, and I did nothing. I have nothing to sell myself. But after I joined IBM, I had lots of the training programs and education and experience to develop my career to be a better leader in the business communities. So we try to cultivate those kind of culture. I think that is more important than the one specific programs or system. The culture itself is very important. So in my role as the general manager of the IBM in Korea, my first priority is how to develop talent who will be the better leader than me. So that's my number one priorities. And all the IBM leaders, they have same goals and same objective. So we, each other, my subordinates, help me be a successful leader in the future. And I also do provide support for them to be a great leader in the future. So that is the culture that we wanted to create. And recently, this kind of culture used to be defined by the territories and country boundaries of IBM operation. Like in our case, IBM Korea, we try to cultivate that kind of the culture within Korea. But now, IBM is globally integrated company. So we don't have that country boundaries within our IBM's operation. So we want to expand that at the global level. So we started under the name of Workforce Management Initiative across the whole organization of IBM globally. So we want to utilize the right people with the right skill at the right time, at the right place, at the right cost, reasonable cost, to deliver value to our client. So if our clients really want Korean to deliver that services or value to them, then we'll provide the Korean employees. But many of the clients doesn't care about the nationality of the people whom they work with. They just want to get the value out of the IBM and out of IBM employee. So we get rid of all boundary as far as resource utilization is concerned, and we also try to develop the careers across the IBM globally. So when we developed the employees development program at IBM, individual development plan is annual the development plan for each of the single employee in IBM. When we develop this individual plan, these days we always include one item into the development plan. That is what is needed for him or her to be a globally capable of the employees in global IBM. So if he, like myself, stayed in Korea for a long time, we should give him the opportunity to work abroad, have an experience with other cultures and other clients. So that is the recent addition into the development plan. And we have lots of program like a career development path and coaching and mentoring. As I said, international assignment is one of the key focus area. Currently we are working hard. So the leadership capability, we defined the 10 leadership capability competencies that every IBM leader should have. I think this is very much similar to any other company. So I don't believe this is unique to IBM, but one characteristic that I wanted to share with you is on the heart of the circle. The core of the circle is IBM values, which I explained at the front of my presentation. So the characteristic, competencies, skills, and experience that they have is less important than the value that the people as a leader should have in IBM. So that might be the one of the characteristic of IBM developments for the leaders. And we also have lots of the tools that, like IBM Professional Marketplace. This is a global talent marketplace. So if every single IBMer, they have to put their CV and resume on the website of the IBM internal intranet. And then if there is a job opening across the world, then they can apply any job that they want, whether it's a Korea job or Japan or China, US, they don't care. They just can apply and then compete against the applicants across the world. And if they are capable, they're selected, they can work. So I think this is very good motivation for the people across the world, not only for the Korean people, Korean employees, but also for the Chinese employees and the Indian employees. Everybody is excited about having these opportunities without any boundaries, without any control. So I think that this is big change. And if we have capability and strengths working in global economy, then many global companies like IBM open that opportunity to everybody in the world. So in that, I just wanted to conclude my ideas, my presentation about IBM. IBM believes that many companies, not only for IBM, but IBM believes that HR is a corporate agenda. It's not the HR functional mission. So we are very much focused on attract and develop and deploy the talents, not for ourselves, but for our clients. Our clients need capable and very excellent people who they can get help. So the IBM's corporate agenda is centered around IBMers, IBM people. So as I said, IBM values the innovators innovator. Creativity and innovation is two keywords that we want to get out of the IBM employee. So they have to be, as I said, at the same time they have two capabilities like creativity and innovation, and at the same time they have to commit themselves as owner of the IBM, as a part of IBM, and they should be the aggressive, the communicator and the ambassador to communicate IBM's value and visions to the clients and the industry. So as I said, globalization is emerging in many global companies. Even to Korean company, we are all of them are focused on globalization of their operation. So it means that it gives more opportunity and more job globally. If we just stay focused on our specific boundaries of the countries or blocks, then our opportunities will be limited. But if we openize and then see the global opportunities, then the opportunity to grow and to succeed will be much wider than today. One thing that I need help from the audience like you, our clients and the academia leaders, government leaders, we, IBM, cannot do all of this. We cannot develop all talent within our company. So we need help from the academia and also the governments and many other constituencies about how can we develop our peoples at the university, at institutions and company who can drive creative innovation for the future. Because next 2 decades, at least next 2 decades, there will be a lot of innovation will emerge across all industry and all society. So key is talent, as I said, which I shared with you this morning. IBM's the success comes from the people. It's not comes from the talent or the technology or system. So next 2 decades, we cannot anticipate, we cannot protect, we cannot estimate what will be the change will be. But we know that there will be changes. So we have people, we need people who can drive the creative innovations by having the multidisciplinary, open creative mindset and capability. So that should be the collective efforts among all of us, not only for the company, but also for the public sector as well. So I hope this, the experience might be very helpful for you. So thank you for listening. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. Mr. Lee shared his knowledge and experience on IBM's value of human resource management and development. And he emphasized the importance of creative innovators. And I would like to introduce the next speaker, Mr. Kuk-gil Kim. Mr. Kim is the CEO and chairman of the Cornerstone International Group and KK Consulting. He has wide knowledge and experience of recruitment of top talent and CEOs. He will share knowledge on how to globalize the business operation and to manage talent. Mr. Kim, welcome. Mr. Kim, please.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is KK Kim, CEO Chairman of KK Consulting and a member of Cornerstone International Group for Executive Search Business, as our moderator explained. I would like to share with you on the topic of how to globalize the business operation and how to manage talent. I'm trying to focus on this first because of time limit. I'm trying to very briefly share with you what I found based on my previous 20 years experience on my business. And later we can talk about in a Q&A session in detail if you might have any questions. First of all, let me tell you what is the globalization and what is the global talent and where we Korean companies are standing at present and what should be improved. And how can we manage the global talent successfully? This is very briefly will cover by this order. What is the globalization? All efforts making for the smooth activities for the various global business across the world. And for this globalization, at least 4 basic requirements is required as follows. First of all, foreign language capability for the successful communication. And second, and systems and basic standards are subject to comply with the global standard. Take as an example, accounting procedure, ethical standard, and so forth. And study and understanding on differences. And on differences, each country, they do have different practices, culture, weather. So you have to study and you have to at least understand on its on differences. And last one is the professional entrepreneurship. Once you make the agreement, you have to follow. Sometimes in Korea, for the global negotiations, sometimes Koreans have sometimes a bye-bye, they're breaking the agreement without confirming the other party. This is what happened. So that's why this kind of 4 basic requirements is a very important factor for the globalization. What is the global talent? And global talent, who is able to meet the sense of the time, as Daniel Pink said, and the era of high touch and high concept. In other words, the recent days we call the future creative talent. This future creative talent are able to design by creative thinking, who is able to provide vision and tell the story, rather to insist only simply. Make harmony as a team player. Sympathy rather than logics. Play the change for innovation. Value rather than accumulating materials. Like value, so many different kind of value. Culture thing and fun thing, and many this future creative talent should have this kind of qualification. Then where we Korean companies are standing at and what should be improved, which means I would like to share with you about for the global standard, we are not insufficient. These are the factors normally we found out. Number 1, foreign language capability. Even this is very important because many Chinese American or Chinese in the regional office, they do almost native speakers. There are many, but in Korea, we are facing this because of the language capability. When we participate in regional corporate meeting, we are unable to communicate with them very successfully. So this is the language capability is very important. At the same time, global mindset. And second one, law-abiding spirit. Third one, negotiation skill. You have to approach more strategically. Strategic approach is required for the successful negotiation. Entrepreneurship. As I explained to you a minute ago, once, take as an example, you make the agreement, you have to follow that one. And transparent, rational, and reasonable process. And make faithful recording for the history. Once the time goes, you forget all. You don't record. And business ethics, this is most important factor. So, protection of property material or security in mind, still we in Korea, take as an example, Korea ranks 40th in corruption. This is unfortunately. And also, should think more scientifically, mathematically, logically, and express your intentions more correctly, clearly. Sometimes you do have ambiguity when you make a deal with other foreign partners. Sometimes that causes many problems. So that's why you should have a clear delivery power, which means correctly let them understand what you're trying to do. See this chart, survey data, which is conducted by Monster. As this chart says, this global mindset and foreign language capability is very critical, very important. So many Korean companies, they need for global experience, for this, strengthen this area. How can we manage the global talent successfully? Number 1, attract. In other words, how to secure talent. Second is develop. which means that training. Third is motivate. Fourth is by fair assessment, the more challengeable opportunities for transition is required. First of all, let me tell you the example, attract. Like in Saudi Arabia, King himself directly make investment almost amounted 5 trillion won investment for scholarship, which is called this organization cost. In France, 3 trillion won investment for the attraction of talent. At EU, they issue green card, a one-stop visa. Unfortunately, Lehman Brothers bankrupt though, but one, Lehman Brothers, Mr. Dr. Fried Hamig said, for one talent attraction, all leaders involved develop a training. As you may know now, in the United States, General Electric, where I come from, I used to be the president of GE Information Service in the past. Crichtonville, which means for leadership program, they do have training. Manpower 21 in Singapore, Grand École in France, in Israel, in talent education from the second and third year of elementary school. Motivate by the regional rewarding. China, India, unbelievable. They do provide very exceptionally, very good package and treatment for the attraction of talent. And at the same time, for the fair assessment, providing the more challengeable opportunities for a transition is required. In conclusion, for the successful talent management, employee should have vision for growth. Not only for himself, but the organization where he belongs to. And second, reasonable rewarding by the fair assessment. Third, lift obstacles, which means this is the organizational issue. To whom you are supposed to report or with whom you are supposed to work. Number 4, continuous coach and care on personal issues and difficulties. These are the 4 factors what you have to pay attention for you to retain global talent successfully. So if you are able to achieve these 4 factors successfully, then you will retain those global talent successfully in your company. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kim. Mr. Kim addressed how Korea should manage talents and improve their capability at current point in the globalization age. From now, we will have panel presentation. After the short presentation by panels for about 5 minutes each, we will have discussion and Q&A session together with our guests in the floor. I would like to introduce the first panelist, Mr. Cheol Won. He was appointed as the president of DuPont Korea since January 2005. He joined DuPont in 1981 after years of working experience at Daewoo Corporation. Mr. Won began his career in global headquarters of DuPont, United States, and became the general manager of DuPont Korea. Mr. Won?
Okay, thank you. I have a comment. Should like to the presentation Mr. Kim made. That's DuPont HL system or HL process. We DuPont use in terms of international deployment of regional or global talents. That is so-called SSGL, salary scale guide level. Every employee has that SSGL determined basically by the size of job he or she's in. and know-how, problem solving, accountability are also the important factors to determine the level. In DuPont, if you just joined the company as a new college graduate, you will be given a SSGL 1A or 2, and if you become a manager, you will be on SSGL 4A, and a director, then you will be on SSGL 6. From the level 6, you will be on a regional level, and you are able, if you are able to continue to be promoted to level 8, you will be on a global level. And let me see, sorry. Okay, about this. And any changes in the SSGLs need support or approvals from country, regional or global HR organizations based on the levels you're in. There may be many companies having or using this SSGL system like DuPont, but one thing may be unique or different in DuPont is that we use this to give him or her a new jobs and positions in the new locations. For example, if you are on SSGL 8 in Korea, then probably you have a regional job, or if you're in Asia Pacific, you will be probably Asia Pacific Business Director job. You will be in the job taking care of all the Asia Pacific businesses. We have 17 countries in this region, including Australia, New Zealand, India, China, Japan, and you'll be based in Korea because you are in Korea. This means you have to travel a lot, maybe more than half of your time. Now, if you're going to be relocated to, let's say, to the U.S., then you will take the job in the U.S. that needs the same SSGL, just like U.S. employees. Taking my case as an example, I was once a Asia Pacific business director for photo mask business based in Korea, and then I was transferred to Wilmington, Delaware, where our company headquarters is, to become a director of corporate new business development. What I'm saying is that there will be no discrimination because of nationalities, race, color, genders, and so on. So all depends upon your capability. Of course, in order to make that happen, every country, region, must control the SSGL very strictly, according to the principles agreed upon. Again, as I said, any changes in the SSGL need approvals from country, regional, and global HR organizations. I think this global SSGL system we have is a very good tool for global talents to be truly a global players. Thank you. So I have.
Thank you, Mr. Won. Mr. Won shared the HR management of DuPont through salary scale, guide level, as well as global and local HR system. I would like to introduce the second panelist, Hang-hee Lee of Corning. She has been the president of Corning Korea since 2004. She has been working as a business director and a global account manager of environmental technologies. And also, Asian Wall Street Journal nominated her as the 10 future CEO in Asia Pacific region. Ms. Lee?
Thank you for kind introduction, Mr. Lee. I'd like to share about Corning case briefly and also my experience in Korea as an employee of a global company over 20 years. Since 150 7 years history of Corning, Corning has we call 7 values, as you can see there. All is very important, but the most critical thing was the individual. That's what we can call people management. We also have many HR programs in Corning, but the listed are key global HR programs to focus on global talent development. I will not talk about the details, but that's all is operated based on recognitions and understanding of the difference by the country and cultures. What that means, comparing Korean business environment, there are 2 critical differences in my business experience in Korea. One is the organization's structure. Korean company and people are very familiar hierarchy structure, and it's very clear who is my boss and how I should report. But in case of Corning headquarters, pretty much matrix organizations. So there are many bosses who I should report and who I should communicate as a dotted line boss and functional boss. All Korean, including myself, Korean employee who feel very complicated and difficult to follow the matrix organization structures and requirement. So of course, in Corning headquarters folks, also difficult to understand Korean business culture, which is in hierarchy structure, as well as Korean peoples. And not just it's too fast. Also, not just these organization structures, and we have some different, obvious difference we call the Hall model. The Dr. Edward Hall, which it was explained as connected business culture also, as we call low content culture as well as in the high content culture. Korea is pretty much a high context culture, which is pretty much focused on people-oriented as well as the relationship focus. But it's in Western culture and the business side, it's the data-driven and factor-oriented and under the information focus on business environment. So those are pretty much the difficulties as to the Korean as well as some Asian to communicate with global other companies. To be a global talented players who can make some global collaboration, the person should have a good communication skill to pass over any difference or obstacles. Clear thing is here, there are a lot of good programs to have creative global talent by every companies, and it is critical success factors of any companies. But understanding the difference and having communication skill to pass over the difference and gap is the most critical thing with my business experience in a global operation companies. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lee. She introduced Corning's value and global HR operation program, and she stressed about the communication skill to overcome the cultural differences and obstacles. The third panelist I would like to introduce, Tae Ha of Northwest Airlines. Tae Ha has been the president of Northwest Airlines since 1994. And he had worked in global headquarters of Northwest Airlines in the United States. And also he is involved in Korean CEOs Association of Multinational Corporation as the Secretary General. Mr. Ha?
Thank you, Mr. Lee. I think I'm a very challenging situation here because I'm the last panelist before the very nice lunch outside. And I'm the only panelist without any fancy PowerPoint presentation to entertain your eyes. So what I can do in return is I will make my discussion as brief as possible and as interesting as possible. So the financial crisis sparked in the US has spread into the rest of the world, and the entire the global village is suffering from the economic downturns. And the airlines are known to be the first to suffer from the economic downturn and the last to enjoy a recovery. So here's the question. How can you make $1 million in airline business? The answer is to start with $1 billion. So in order to proactively overcome these challenges, Northwest Airlines has announced a closure of the merger with Delta Airlines last week to create the world's largest global airlines that reaches every continent around the globe. Delta Airlines, along with Northwest Airlines as a wholly owned subsidiary, will generate $35 billion in revenue, fly to 375 cities in 66 countries, and employs approximately 75,000 people worldwide. During the merger process, Northwest Airlines Pacific franchise has been recognized as one of the most valuable assets of the company because Northwest Airlines has been in Asian market over 61 years with the presence and the brand recognition. In 1947, Northwest launched the first flight from US to Asia, connecting two continents over the Pacific Ocean. And in order to provide the Asian language service on board, we hired the first Asian flight attendant in 1947. That was the dawn of our hiring Asian talent in our Pacific organization. And Northwest Airlines' 61 years expertise in doing business in Asia, they all come from the knowledge accumulated from people. We could have never orchestrated such monumental achievement of 61 years of success in Asia without tremendous amount of Asian talent employed in our Pacific organization. Like many global companies such as IBM, DuPont, and Corning, we have a HR system to recruit, train, promote, and relocate global talent to a greater organization. We offer more training program to our employees than any other U.S. carrier. We have a job opening system such as we post a job opening company-wide and the worldwide via our intranet. This provides a global job opportunity to any employees with the right qualification and the background. Personally, I'm the beneficiary of such a program. After 5 years of financial work in Minneapolis, I applied for my current position in Korea, which has broadened my scope of responsibilities to include commercial, operation, legal, HR, all in addition to finance. Okay, in bottom line, what do you have to do to succeed in a global company like Northwest Airlines? We can list a lot of skills, to say a strong, very strong analytical skills to understand the core issues of a problem, or effective communication skills as emphasized by two speakers and others. Especially English is one of the most important assets working in the global companies. And in fact, when I have a job interview for half an hour, what I do is the first 20 minutes, I interview totally in English. And then for the rest 10 minutes, I interview in Korean to make sure that Korean can speak the Korean. Simply because our email system, Windows system, they're all in English. Unfortunately, Korean is not international language yet, so we have to make sure that our talent can have a skill to effectively communicate in English. Also diversity. As Ms. Lee from Corning mentioned, most of global companies has a matrix system which have a very multiple reporting system. So this person has a skill to work with people with a various different background, ethnic background, or cultures? That's a very important question. And a strong sense of business ethic is another very important asset, and commitment to corporate social responsibilities. I listed kind of a skills, but if somebody asks me what is really important to succeed as a global leader, I rather say that it's a character rather than skills. Is this person a man of dignity? Can we really trust this person? And can this person, or he or she, stick with the value and ethics and corporate value in a challenging time? That is the most important question when we identify global leaders in our organization. So this may be something we are all missing in our school system in Korea, or in MBA schools maybe. Interesting things I found in recently was last month we recruited 10 flight attendants from Korea as part of our Asian flight attendant hiring process. And these flight attendants, though they are Korean nationals, will have a home base in Hong Kong. Surprisingly, 2,500 Koreans applied for that position. And they're all well equipped with very effective English communication skills, professionalism, and excellent service attitude. So I believe the younger generation may be better preparing itself with open minds to become significant player in the global business arena. I really hope to see more Koreans prepare themselves with the global standard and skills and the character to go beyond Korea to become significant global business leader in this ever-changing global world. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ha, and two speakers and three panelists. Thank you. I think this forum is excellent opportunity for all of us to share our experience and knowledge together with the CEOs of multinational and global corporations. Through this kind of forum, we hope our young talents can go abroad to the regional headquarters and global headquarters as a talent and to become a global CEO in the future. For a good example, Mr. Lee Chae-wook of GE Medical Division, he has been the Asia Pacific President of GE Medical Division 2 terms. And at this moment at Kuala Lumpur, Mr. Kim Hae-dong, the largest medical equipment corporation of Germany, he is the President of Asia Pacific, B. Brown. Something like that. But at this moment, not many Koreans yet to be the important manager role in the global market, like regional headquarters and global headquarters. Even though Hong Kong and Singaporeans take a lot of positions in the global organization. In order to become a good manager in a global organization, I would like to ask this question to Mr. Lee of IBM. Even though you have the HR system and open for the opportunity hold the employees in the worldwide organization, how can Korean young talents can become a manager in an organization of not in the Korean local level but in Asia Pacific regional level or global headquarters or other countries?
Okay, thank you. Before I answer to your question, I would like to ask a question to the audiences in this room. Do we really believe the globally integrated economy will give more opportunity for Korean people to have more job opportunity in the world? Or it means it's opportunities? The answer should be the opportunity. On the other hand, we also can question ourselves, is there any threat that we should anticipate that will happen very soon? Or it will happen, it is happening today. So that is a threat. So what's your answer? I think we should think about that first. So let me answer your questions with the statistics that I have in Korea. In 2005, IBM Korean employees, there was no single IBM corporate executive level leaders who works outside of Korea. There was none. Now, 2008, we have 9. 9 corporate executive level leaders are working outside of Korea. It means that we have better opportunities to challenge for the global leadership roles. On the contrary, we, IBM Korea, in 2005, we have 2,200 employees in Korea. Now we have 2,700. So we have 500 more employees than we had 4 years ago. Is it good or bad? Let me give you another numbers. In India, IBM India was 10,000 employees in 2005. Now they have 70,000 employees in IBM in India. So what does it mean? I think we have to know where are the strengths, what are the strengths of the Korean employees who can challenge for better job and better opportunity in the world. If we stay focused on routine work, repetitive works, and deliver the productivity through the efficiency of the doing work, I think we have no hope, because we will give that job to the Indian peoples or even to the African people very soon. But so our focus should be the expertise and the specialties and creativity, and those are the keywords which we should focus on. As I said, at the university, we should not teach them the routine work. We should not stop our teaching and education at that level. We have to give students challenges, think about what can we do differently, which was done in the past. So I think that's all about creativity, and that's all about innovation, and that's the area that we, Korean people, should focus on to get more opportunities in the world, I believe.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. Oh, okay.
Yeah, can I make comment on that issue? DuPont also has many DuPont Korea employees working outside Korea. Currently, the total number of DuPont Korea employees is, I think, 450 at the moment. Now we have more than 10 employees working outside, probably close to 20 employees working outside Korea. A couple of them in the US, actually many of them in Asia, in Singapore, China. What I'm saying is, again, if you once on the regional level, that is, as I mentioned, SSL 6, if you once on the SSL 6, you better not stick to Korean. You can work either in Japan or even Thailand or any place, even in Australia, okay, or you can go to US or Europe. Once you become on this regional level, the nationalities is basically not important. What kind of capability you have is important. Secondly, what will be the job you're going to have in the future? 5 years later, 10 years later, what are you going to be in DuPont organization global? That will determine where you will work. So maybe some type of training to become a leader, a global leader. You need to go to different places, or also you need to take some different jobs. One good example is we have the current DuPont Asia Pacific president is a Korean. His name is D.S. Kim. He joined DuPont Korea about 20 years ago as DuPont Korea employee. And then after several years of experience in Korea, he was transferred to U.S. I think first job in the U.S. became an operation director for titanium dioxide business. And then after that, he was promoted to become a vice president, we call BPGM. That's more like a president of one SBU. That SBU has about, I would say, minimum $1 billion revenue. He became a BPGM for non-open business in the U.S. And then when he returned to Asia, he became the president of Asia Pacific. So that may be the best example. And my case, after 7 years, I joined DuPont Korea. I was the first U.S. assignment in Texas. I became the plant manager for one plant in Texas. And then after that, I came back to Korea and become site manager and then some business director's job. And then I got another transfer to U.S. That was mentioned, global corporate new business development first, and then I got a global business director job for a non-holographics business.
Okay, Mr. Won, it was very good case of international opportunity. So thank you for your comments. Okay. And due to the time limit, it's about time to get the question from the floor. So I thank you for your good explanation from Mr. Lee of IBM and DuPont. Yes, please. Are there any microphone on the floor? Yes.
Thank you, and my name is Chang Lee from the owner of the organizer, this Crivet. And you know, this raising hands quickly is one of talent, isn't it? In front of so many audiences, and I think it's time is learning. So my question is one. As one of the organizer, and I have to emphasize the importance of how we can innovating some innovations of how we can create talent and managing talent. It's not a forum for promotion of individual companies, right? So audiences are so busy, and they want to be here to learn, picking up some innovative ideas. So my question is that, you know, that in Korean, one of the biggest problems is those universities, they are manufacturer of graduates, but this work of manufacturing is never welcomed by private enterprises. That's why more than 1 decade, the CEO of Samsung emphasized, we need graduates, but we don't need any contents and picked up by those university graduates. Ever since, some universities are trying to be taking some initiative and some kind of breakthrough, but really not unproductive. That's why in Korea, it's a kind of facing big problem, challenges. It's universal problems, but only Korean context, I have to emphasize that. That's why I am very interested in knowing that Lee Sung-lee, CEO of Korea IBM, emphasized the importance of how we can create innovators. I have many, many ideas. So my question is that, given those some stakeholders, they never wants to change their existing minds. So we cannot make all those hundreds of universities in Korea change their minds. We have no time to wait for them until they becomes innovators. Therefore, we have to create some kind of system, new system, and new environment, new systems. What I want is that private enterprise like Korea IBM don't be try to be too much focused on global interest. My question is that how we can create new system or new breakthrough by taking initiative of collaborative work and with the government side and the R&D institutes and the private enterprises. And I have some ideas. So are you willing to join us to create some kind of new breakthrough? Thank you.
Thank you for the good challenges. So I appreciate that. Let me share some of the efforts. Innovation is not easy. We cannot, any single institution and organization can provide solution for innovation. So as I said, it is a collaboration among the many constituencies. So one example is like this. The problem that we are facing in business life today is that solving the business problem with technology. Technology is there, and the business problem is there, emerge. Then how do we leverage that technology to solve the business problem? That's the problem that our clients are facing, and IBM wants to help them. So we need talent who can do that. So, as I said, we need technology, understanding of technology, and applying it to the business environment. So people should have knowledge about technology and businesses. So when we start to recruit the university graduate, then they are specialized by major. So we are business administration major university graduate, and we have the engineers from the university. But there is very few talents who has both. So we started to develop the curriculum with the university. In Korea, we are working with 8 universities to develop the specific curriculums to educate the students to combine those two different the disciplines, academic disciplines, into one. We call it service science. Service knowledge coming from businesses. Science means that some knowledge about the science and technology and engineering. And then we can train, develop our university students to be ready for the work in the real field. So that might be one of the ideas and one of the efforts that currently we are doing. We can have lots of more ideas and possibility to work together. But I wanted to share just one example with you. Thank you.
Okay. Yes. One from there. We have microphone. So.
Thank you. My name is Steve Cervantes. I'm from the business school at Dongguk University. My first question is for Mr. Lee from IBM. Does IBM afford a chance to students from second and third tier universities in Korea? Many of my students think that they are being discriminated against and are not afforded an opportunity to get a job with an esteemed company like yourselves. Many of the students from the so-called Sky are given the positions they believe. Now, I've taught at 3 different universities, and I have taught at one of the universities of Sky, and I have found more dynamic students at times from second and third tier universities. And my second question is for Mrs. Lee. What should I tell my female students who are somewhat despondent and depressed at times about their job prospects? You're a female and you grew to become president of your company here in Korea. As you all know, we had a president just elected who is an African American and was able to go through the hurdles that were against him. So I would just like to hear your comment on those questions. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Lee first, and then Ms. Lee.
Thank you. Let me correct some perception problem here. From last year, IBM, we get rid of the column to specify university when they apply, when submit application form to IBM. So there is no column which specifies the university that they graduate. So there is no way for us to discriminate the university by tier. We don't know which university is good, which university is bad. We don't judge that. We just focus on the people. As I said, the only point that we want to make sure is that we wanted to assure these people is different from others. My question to them is very simple. What makes you special? Why should IBM treat you differently? So every single IBMer should be ready, not only for the new applicants, but also for the employee within IBM. They should develop their answers about that question. What makes you special? That's all we care.
Okay, that's very clear answer to the gentleman. And Ms. Lee?
Okay, thank you for the questions. As a female in a business, it is not easy, of course, especially in Korea. It's a fully male-dominated society. I'm graduated girls middle school, girls high school, and women's university. So, and didn't provide any army service also in Korea. So it is tough to build the relationship as well as a certain kind of social activities. But the most important thing is, as a female, should have professionalism and with knowledge and there's a business side. That's number one. That's fundamental things. Number two is, I think, is should have the communication skill. As a female, is some different, more sensitive than the male, I think. So utilize the advantage on that. Have communication skill to collaborate in the business area with some obstacle as well as some difficulties. It's not just related to language barrier as cultural barrier. It is related how to make the harmony and collaboration. That's through their advantage with the sensitivities and the reading the market situations as well as customer side, internal, external. That is the key factors, I think, to be a real professionalism business person, not just a female. I hope that's the answer.
Very good. And from our forum today, we can summarize this way. There is no discrimination, second tier, third tier university graduates or ladies, whatever. But, you know, as we hear from the cases from 5 companies, there are open opportunities for young talents or high potentials. If somebody has competencies, we can have the job and a very important role all over the world. It's really up to the competence of each individual. So we must tell the students or young talents, be ambitious, be prepared, especially all of the panelists and speakers emphasize the communication skill and there's very specialized business competencies. So I hope this forum will act as a catalyst to develop and implement practical strategies of human resource management and development. Our efforts will lead our young potential talents to global stages like global headquarters and regional headquarters of multinational corporations and international organizations. It was a great pleasure to be a moderator with many eminent business leaders and scholars here. And we have little less than 10 minutes now, right? So we can have more questions from the floor. Any questions? Okay.
Hi, I'm from a business school. I'm also a professor from Hannam University down in Daejeon. It's very, very interesting for me to hear some of your perspectives, especially I'm not Korean, so I actually don't really know that much about the Korean business systems here, although I do teach it. But Ms. Lee, what you said about your company and the matrix system is completely different from the education system here in Korea, where you have the Confucianism, where you're supposed to look up to your elders, listen to everything they say, and you're not supposed to, how shall I put it? Basically, you're supposed to listen to everything that your elders say. But you're saying that your company system is where, you know, everybody talks to each other and the reporting system is very, very different, which is very, very different from the education system. I'm interested to know the kind of resistance that you faced when introducing your new employees to this kind of system and what you've done to overcome this kind of resistance. Like, what did you do to make them understand?
We cannot hear you. Would you please speak it a little bit more loudly?
Okay. What I'm interested to know is that you have a very different business model where you said the structure is a matrix system, which is very different from the education system in Korea. Okay, what I'm interested to know is how do you overcome the resistance of the people that you hire, and just how you bring them on board to train them so that they understand the business culture in your company?
Okay, I think it's just a question to me. I don't know exactly is this the big difference between education curriculum as well as some business area. As I talk about matrix organizations, which Kony has now, is kind of function-oriented organizations. That means we should have a good communication skill to communicate with many other people. As we are very much innovation-oriented company, to keep this innovations, the innovation program management is number one. So to do that kind of innovation program management, we should have a lot of cooperations with the others, not just related directly or the other functions in the other manufacturing area or R&D center. So wholly kind of collaboration is required. To do that, as I indicated, the communication skill. So when I hired any new employee, I'm looking for their communication skill. A couple days ago, I saw the newspapers. It's many CEOs, through the survey, many CEOs asked who would be a team player, not just a specialist or professionalist in certain area, is to overcome this kind of difficulties in finance. So that means fundamentally should have professionalism in their certain area and they have, as well as the person who want to be an employee of Corning should have good communication skill to collaborate as global talented player. Is that answer for your question?
I think it's okay. Yes. Next. Gentleman.
예, 저는 LG화학에 근무하는 김수홍 부장입니다. 두 가지 질문을 좀 드리고 싶습니다. 첫 번째는 이희성 사장님께 드리고 싶은데요. 그 IBM어라는 어떤 좋은 가치관을 말씀을 잘 들었습니다. 그런데 그 가치관을 만드는데 모든 구성원들이 그걸 받아들이기 위해서는 본인들의 참여라든가 본인들이 어떤 그런 걸 만드는 데 참여를 해야 되는데 그 과정이 어떻게 진행이 됐으며 또 거기에 동의하지 않는 사람들 분명히 있었을 겁니다. 왜냐하면 다른 생각을 했었을 텐데 뭐 기술했던 사람은 기술 뭐 중심 뭐 이렇게 했을 텐데 그렇지 않은 거로 이렇게 뭉쳐졌을 때 그걸 어떻게 이해를 시켰으며 그 과정들이 어떻게 진행됐는지 하고 보통 그런 게 만들어지면 이제 저희는 항상 액자 속에 뭐 경영이념, 액자 속에 뭐 이렇게 얘기를 하거든요. 그래서 그런 것들이 어떻게 실현될 수 있도록 어떤 활동들을 하셨는지가 궁금하고요. 두 번째 우리 김국길 회장님께 말씀드리고 싶은 거는 저는 이제 좀 조직 문화 관련된 일을 좀 더 하고 있는데 관련돼서 하고 있는데 우리가 항상 그 인재, 글로벌 인재, 뭐 탤런트 이런 쪽에 굉장히 포커스를 해서 회사의 어떤 인재 관리를 하고 있는데 회사에는 사실은 그런 사람도 필요하지만 그렇지 않은 정말 단순한 일을 열심히 할 수 있는 사람도 필요하고 우리가 이렇게 뭐 아까 뭐 대학에서 우수한 인재를 뽑아서 하지만 그렇지 않은 사람도 필요한 그 잡들이 있거든요. 근데 모든 포커스가 이렇게 인재, 탤런트 이 사람들한테 감동을 주고 이 사람들한테 뭐 이렇게 경력 개발을 해주고 하는 거에 이렇게 치우치다 보면 문화가 조직 문화가 좀 이렇게 두 부류에서 탤런트와 그렇지 않은 사람, 인재와 그렇지 않은 사람에서 이렇게 좀 갭이 나올 수 있는데 그런 것들을 어떻게 그렇지 않은 사람들은 어떻게 같이 함께 갈 수 있게 할 것인가 하는 그 부분에 대해서 좀 궁금합니다.
I think as he asked question in Korean, I should answer in Korean as well. So please accept my apology for the foreign audiences for a while. 그 참여를 이끌어내는 일이 참 어렵습니다. 저희 38만 명 중에 72시간 동안 온라인으로 토론할 수 있는 장을 만들었습니다. 인트라넷 상에서. 그리고 72시간 동안 라이브로 IBM의 모든 사람들이 참여할 수 있게 했고 그 세션을 하기 전에 IBM의 CEO에서부터 모든 매니지먼트가 이 세션을 통해서 우리가 무엇을 하고자 하는지를 명확하게 설명을 했습니다. 그랬더니 그 당시에 32만 명쯤 IBM 직원이 있었는데 그 중에 5만 8천 명이 들어와서 토론을 했었습니다. 그러니까 뭐 한 5분의 1밖에 안 되는 것이죠. 근데 문제는 모든 사람한테 똑같은 기회가 주어졌고 거기서 무엇을 할 것이라는 걸 알았기 때문에 거기에 참여하지 않았던 사람들도 자기가 마치 참여한 것과 똑같은 그 기회를 가졌다라는 것, 그것이 되게 중요했던 것 같고요. 동의하지 않는 사람들을 어떻게 했느냐 하는 거는 물론 말은 그렇게 하지 않았지만 가치를 공유하지 않으면 같이 일할 수 없지 않습니까? 그래서 가치를 공유하는 것이 지금 당장 이거에 동의할 필요는 없지만 이것을 실천하겠다라고 하는 커미트먼트를 공유하는 그런 시간을 가졌습니다. 그러니까 모든 관리자들이 전 직원들과 함께 이 밸류라는 가치가 만들어지고 난 다음에는 그런 세션들을 계속해 왔습니다. 그래서 모든 각 개인들마다 그 퍼스널 커미트먼트 이거를 내가 실천하겠다 일하는 동안에는 IBM을 떠나서 뭐 집에 가서는 상관없지만 IBM으로서 일하는 동안에 이걸 실천하겠다는 커미트먼트를 다 받았습니다. 그리고 지금 이게 아까 실천을 어떻게 하느냐 하는데 저는 제가 말을 할 때 어떤 모임에서 어떤 스피치를 하든지 간에 반드시 그 제가 전달하고자 하는 메시지를 IBM의 밸류와 연관을 시켜서 얘기합니다. 예를 들어서 고객의 불만을 해소해야 된다라고 하는데 우리가 게을리한 점이 있었다면 이것은 우리의 첫 번째 가치, Dedication to Client Success라는 우리의 가치를 제대로 실천하지 못하는 거다라고 얘기를 합니다. 그렇게 하면 가장 파워풀하게, 왜냐하면 직원들이, 우리가 쓰는 직원들이 로우레벨 워커들이 아니거든요. 뭐 공장에 생산직 직원이 있는 것도 아니고 대부분 다 스마트한 피플들이고 대단히 인텔리전트한 피플들입니다. 우리가 그것을 룰로 이끌어갈 수는 없고 그들 스스로가 가지고 있는 프로페셔널로서의 프라이드와 회사의 가치를 연결시키는 것, 그것이 가장 좋은 방법이 아닌가 그렇게 생각합니다. 좀 길어졌습니다.
네, 아주 좋은 질문을 하셨습니다. 저도 코리안으로 하겠습니다. 예, 굉장히 좋은 질문을 했는데, 이 원래 글로벌 탤런트, 글로벌 CEO나 글로벌 탤런트를 뽑을 때 저희들이 가장 중시하는 팩터들이 있습니다. 예를 들어서 CEO일 때는 뭐 여러 가지 그 사람들의 proven performance record랄지 여러 가지 evaluation 하는데 꼭 들어가는 것이 corporate culture입니다. A person who is able to comply with the corporate culture. 그래서 corporate culture에 comply 안 하면 떨어집니다. 결국은 corporate culture가 지금 아까 말씀하신 대로 중요시 안 되는 것처럼 말씀하셨는데 굉장히 중요합니다. 모든 탤런트나 industry knowledge, 그 다음에 character related 어떤 그 사람의 competence가 다 체크와 evaluation 하더라도 그 나름대로 회사의 비전과 어떤 미션과 어떤 전략에 맞지 않거나 그 corporate culture에 맞지 않으면 드랍시킵니다. 그래서 corporate culture는 굉장히 중요한 팩터 중에 하나입니다. 하이링 할 때. 이상입니다.
Thank you, Mr. Lee and Kim. I think this forum was the great opportunity for all of us to share knowledge and experience with global CEOs. I hope this will be the bridge role for all the young managers and talents to give the ideas for the chance of working in the global market and stage. Again, it was a great pleasure to be a moderator with many eminent business leaders and scholars here. And ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our session for the day. Thank you very much.